Good evening, my name is Aleksander Wierzejski and this is the Poland Daily. The life and death question has been raised by the case of Mr. Sławomir, who is in coma in Portsmouth Hospital for several weeks now. Deemed brainless, he has been sentenced to death after the hospital denied him food and water. His family in the UK is okay with that, while the Polish family wants him back to the country. This is a front-page story, and here's an update. The Polish government issued a diplomatic passport for Mr. Sławomir, and Warsaw Court demands to start feeding him and return him to the country. For Paul, who is dying of hunger and thirst in the British hospital in Plymouth, there is another light in the tunnel. Marcin Warchoł, Polish Deputy Minister of Justice, has sent a request to the UK Minister of Justice for the transfer of Mr. Sławomir to Poland. I have submitted to UK Minister of Justice an application for transport of this individual to Poland. The politician also emphasized the importance of protecting the health and life of Poles, regardless of the country they happen to be in. My job as a member of Polish government is to protect Poles, particularly those in need, those experiencing hardships and life-threatening situations. District Prosecutor's Office in Warsaw applied to the court for the incapacitation of a Pole. The procedure is aimed at people who cannot decide for themselves, for example, in the case of therapeutic therapy. The more so because British doctors, as in other cases of this type, asked the family of a hospitalized Pole for permission to collect organs in the event of his possible death. Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a diplomatic passport and sent it to the Polish consul in London. The document will transfer the jurisdiction of the Polish courts. Poland is ready to receive admission. From the logistic and medical point of view, we are ready. We are just waiting for a signal when such a possible transport can take place, said Deputy Minister of Health Waldemar Kraska in radio interview. The Polish side of the family speaks about a small miracle, because Mr. Sławomir is alive despite the 8 days of starvation and thirst. My brother is now the 9th day without the food and water. We are always waiting for information about the worst. At the same time, we hope that the minister and the government will succeed. In recent days, the Polish officials work on overdrive to reintroduce feeding to Mr. Sławomir and transport him to Poland. The jury is still out regarding the outcome. As you know, last October, Polish Supreme Court ruled that eugenic abortion is illegal, according to the Polish constitution. The ruling prompted feminists to massive street protests and even to attacks on churches. The situation calmed down during Christmas, but it is expected to warm up again as soon as the court shall publish the ruling and make it into the law. President Andrzej Duda spoke about abortion on TV and did not ask the Constitutional Tribunal to promptly publish the judgment. I think the abortion is unjustified in a situation where a child is affected by some defect that causes his disability. It shouldn't be that the child can be murdered by abortion. At the moment, the Sejm is the host of this topic, and the deputies will decide according to their conscience, according to their reasons. It's a matter of their beliefs, as well as the question of what the future of the Republic of Poland will be, stressed the president. The citizens of Russia are protesting against the arrest of the oppositionist Alexei Navalny. Police reacted brutally, although in several cities they refrained from violent actions. The Russian media claim that mass protests in dozens of cities were organized by Poland. Censorship on social media is a growing worldwide issue. Recently, Facebook restricted access to a film about a German concentration camp for children in Łódź. We had a story about that earlier. Facebook blocked the professional publication made by Polish state institution whose job is to remind us about history. Fortunately, thanks to the outrage of internet users, the scandalous decision was withdrawn after 48 hours. Łódź, Przemysłowa Street, concentration camp, Feel Our Fear. This is the documentary about suffering of Polish children imprisoned in the German concentration camp in Łódź. Facebook considered the video as a social campaign and blocked access to it outside of Poland. Polish users protested the scandalous decision, and after 48 hours, Facebook has lifted the ban. The main goal is to show the story of Polish children in a German concentration camp in Łódź at Przemysłowa Street. Filmmakers translated the video into 4 languages and made it available in Israel, France, United Kingdom, Germany, Russia and Spain. And Facebook blocked access in all those countries.
Pokazanie obozu niemieckiego dla polskich dzieci.
The presentation of the German camp for Polish children in Łódź, which was in the vicinity of the ghetto, shows that not only Jews were victims of the Nazi German Empire during the Second World War. And this is one of the main problems of Polish-Jewish relation in a certain aspect. Poles demand recognition that they were also victims of German crimes.
Stoi po stronie prawdy.
The Institute called on Facebook to restore the presentation. Facebook complied after 2 days. Publishing house Bellona issued a critical edition of Mein Kampf, a book by Adolf Hitler. Russia's foreign minister didn't waste an opportunity to attack Polish authorities for that. The first full Polish edition of Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler hit the bookshelves. The publication creates strong emotions despite the critical commentary by Professor Eugeniusz Cezary Król. Publisher responsible for the print, Bellona, describes the book as one of the most sinister literary works in the history of mankind. However, some readers point out that this is highly inappropriate to promote the book due to the tragedy caused by Nazi ideology. This text by Adolf Hitler has been analyzed many times and we find nothing new there. Professor Wojciech Roszkowski indicates that the publication may have political consequences. This is a text in quotation marks because it is burdened with such a very difficult history. The mere fact of publishing Mein Kampf in Poland can be weaponized to attack this country. At the moment, Poland is a punching bag for hostile forces who are just waiting to strike. The cost of this endeavor could be politically high. This is not the first controversial publication by Professor Król. In the past, he also published the memoirs of Joseph Goebbels. According to the author, the Polish edition of Mein Kampf is supposed to be only a tool of scientific work, and therefore it does not violate the Polish law. It's one thing to publish such books in an atmosphere of sick sensation or to treat the Nazi ideology ambiguously, and another thing is the scientific edition, which is equipped with a very solid scientific apparatus developed by one of the best Polish specialists of the Third Reich era. Professor Wiesław Wysocki believes that this is a sign of a fascination with evil. This is undoubtedly anarchist, leftist, degenerate. Young people who succumb to some fascination will, of course, buy such book to enjoy the forbidden fruit, but you can't influence that anymore. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs reacted sharply to the publication. Maria Zakharova, spokeswoman of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, accused Poland of falsifying history. The spokeswoman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as could be expected, found a convenient excuse to hit Poland. It is known that various false commentaries and even information are flowing from Moscow. You can wrap it up as lies, lies and more lies. Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, is a book that Adolf Hitler wrote while in prison in Landsberg in 1920s. Poland is the 3rd country to have published it. That's all for today. Please join us tomorrow, same time.